Good morning, friends and family. Welcome to Executing My Exodus Ministries Freedom Fridays with your host, which is myself, Ashley D. Listen, the Lord has allowed us to see one more day, one more Friday, and we have made it to the month of March, y'all. That is a blessing. The third month of the year, the Lord has kept us, and we ought to be grateful. We ought to be thankful and excited for His grace and His mercy. Listen, while you're on your way to work or while you're sitting at your desk, I just want to share a few things with you. So, as most of you all have seen, that EME's theme for the month of March is March Madness with a spiritual twist. And so as I was meditating on what to talk about for the month of March, I said, there's no way I cannot talk about the fall of Jericho. There's no way. Like, we got to talk about it. So listen, as I was studying, as I was preparing, and you know, I like to read before, as if you're a real study of the word, you got to read before, you got to read after, you got to read all in between the lines to understand how they got to this point. And as I was reading Joshua 6, you go back and read it in your spare time, Joshua 6, which is where they talk about the fall of Jericho. I saw several themes within that chapter. And so every Friday, I'm going to talk about a particular theme that the Lord has given me insight on as I was studying. And so the first one I want to talk about is faith. I want to talk about the faith, the strong, like the high level, the strong, high level measure of faith that the Israelites had to walk around the walls of Jericho in order for them to come down. Now, if you read the scripture, of course, for 6 days, they walked around the walls of Jericho one time, but that seventh day, they walked around 7 times, blowing trumpets, yelling, and the walls came down. Listen, you have to have some immaculate faith in order for you to believe that the Lord is going to allow these walls to fall down. And as I was studying, I was like, man, what got them to the place where their faith was so high? And as I was reading, it was because the Lord had showed Himself mighty in their lives. You know, He delivered them from Egypt, got them through the Red Sea, you know, but at some point they lost faith. They began to have idolatry, you know, they began to find belief in other things besides God. And so they were in the wilderness for 40 years. Listen, 40 years. And so as I was meditating, I'm excited. As I was meditating, I was like, you know, Lord, sometimes we can be the hold up from, you know, getting to the promised land, what it is that you have for us, because we begin to find faith and belief in everything else going on around us. And so I got to see how the Israelites, because they lost their faith, God took them through the wilderness. He let them be there. That was their punishment. That's why they stayed there before they could even get to the promised land. But once they switched their position, once they shifted their position and their posture, God allowed them to move forward in order to get to the promised land. And so I just want to challenge you today for you to shift your posture, change your posture, and march in faith on this year. March in faith, knowing that God is going to get you to where He wants you to be. But you got to have faith in Him. You got to have belief in Him. Like God, and I think a lot of times we allow situations that are happening around us to kind of get us off guard. You know, like we get distracted. That's the right term. We get distracted by what's going on around us, but we have to have tunnel vision and focus on God and have faith in Him that He is going to see us through what we're going through and that He's going to take us where we ought to be going, where He believes we should be going. So I just want to encourage you today on this Freedom Friday, march in faith, knowing that God has your back, that He will never leave you nor forsake you, and that He would give you everything that He wants you to have in this season. But you got to have faith in Him. You got to trust Him. You got to believe Him. And oftentimes we all have seen the signs and wonders that God has shown us. Like, and I know to be honest, if we're really honest, a lot of times we put God in a box saying that he's limited. Like, he only can do this much. He can't do anything greater than that. But if you know, like I know, if you're a believer like I am, God can do the impossible. He can do above and beyond we can ever ask or think. But we got to have faith in him. And sometimes we delay the blessings that God had for us because we have decreased our faith. But we got to level up. We got to level up this year. God has shown us too much. He has shown himself mighty, shown himself faithful, shown himself trustworthy, loyal. Like, God has shown himself to be a great God, a mighty God in our lives each and every day. The fact that we are able to wake up, move, breathe, and have our own being shows us right there that he is faithful. So why don't we have faith? So I just want to encourage you today. March in faith. Gotta handle the rest. You gotta have faith though. Don't allow your faith to delay the blessings that God has for you. March in faith, knowing that God is going to see you through. And he's going to reveal those blessings and promises that he has strategically designed for your life. March in faith on this Freedom Friday. Have freedom in knowing that when you march in faith, everything else will fall into place and God will show himself mighty in your life. I love you with the love of Christ. I hope you have a wonderful and blessed Friday today. Thank you for tuning in and to Executing My Exodus Ministries Freedom Fridays with your host, which is myself, Ashley D. God bless you. I love you in the Lord, and there's nothing you can do about it. God bless you.